I'm Chip Townsend, and this is the Team Chip Podcast. Welcome back, guys. Team Chip Podcast. Man, I'm excited to be here with you. It is getting to be fall time. The weather changes. It's cooling off, and I've been thinking kind of hard about this. How are we going to close out our year strong? How do we finish strong and not fade out? Close the year with purpose, keep some momentum going, etc. So let's talk about that a little bit. I've got some R's to share with you guys today. R's of kind of finishing the year strong. And so I think sometimes it's easy to get into this situation where, you finish up some of the last events of the year, you're early in the fall, and maybe I'm wrong, and you kind of go, whew, we got the big stuff behind us, and you kind of start to slow down. Maybe you cancel classes, a couple of times, or you let your classes run a little short, and the fire slows down. It rings in my head as Hanshi Dave Kovar talking about the school that always closes. You know what I mean? So what do we do to keep the fire going and keep ourselves moving? So I just got some ideas, some thoughts I want to share with you guys today to maybe help keep that momentum strong through the end of the year. And we're going to start with the R of rationale, your why. What's your rationale for what you do? I think it's super important in this time of year that we do some reviewing and reflecting, thinking back on the year, like how are we? And so what I mean by this is, what is your why? For us, serving Jesus Christ is first and foremost, number one. Serving our family, serving our students, creating an experience. We have a motto: empowering people through their pursuit of personal martial arts excellence, creating world-class martial artists with a servant's heart and a beginner's mind. And we use that to kind of reground ourselves sometimes. Every leadership team meeting, we enter the meeting with that. We leave the meeting with that. We keep that forefront of mind. We're here to serve. We're here to move people forward in their life, to help them as best we can with the platform of martial arts, of having a good life. And if we can do anything about it, maybe make it a little bit better, a little more positive, build them some confidence, some discipline, and all these things in their life that will make their life better. So it's a good time this time of year, a lot of times, to sit back and kind of think about your why. Have we stuck to our why through the year? Are the decisions we're making aligning with our why? And here's just, some kind of review and reflect questions for you. What did you do good this year? I know that's kind of generic and simple, but go back to all of your events and all of your sales and, all of your classes and everything. It all matters. And think about, what did you do good? And kind of write those things down, jot them down, and start making notes to plan for next year. What things did we do that were not so productive, that weren't so good? Do we need to eliminate those things? Do we need to change them, or do we need to cut them? How do we do things better next year? So again, are we staying connected to our why? Are we staying true to our purpose and our cause? And even involving your team in the questions sometimes. Set the team down and ask them, what are you most proud of this year? And you can make that specific. What are you most proud of that you accomplished here with us in our organization? Or it could even be more personal, like, hey, what are you most proud of that you've accomplished for yourself? Maybe ask, what's one thing that maybe stands out that you really want to try to improve for next year? Did you hit your goals? Did you maintain your martial arts training? Did you maintain your healthy eating and all the things that you had intended to do for the year? So involving the team, but doing some reflecting and making sure that the decisions we made through the year align with our why and who we are and the purpose behind what we do. And encourages us to finish the year strong. Another thing that we want to talk about, another R, I think that's really important in finishing your year strong is relationships. I know this kind of seems maybe a little generic, but in the martial arts world, we're in a relationship business, and there are many different layers of relationships. There's instructor to student relationships, student to student relationships, parent to instructor relationships, parent to parent, and even grandparents and caretakers, etc. So there's a lot of layers to the relationships, and I want to encourage you guys to make sure that you're kind of not only reviewing and reflecting on relationships through the year that you've developed, that maybe you've strengthened, but be thinking about how the R of relationships feeds the next R of retention. And so what I mean by that is first and foremost, to have good retention in the martial arts school, we have to teach great martial arts. And when I say great martial arts, that could be a little subjective, but it's got to be functional. It has to be fun so that people want to come back and do it again. It has to be something that improves people's lives. And it has to be as real as we can make it to fulfill the needs or the perceived needs of our clients. And so retention, if we don't have monster good classes, and I like to talk to my team and use the word experience. Are we creating an experience for them on the mat that's second to none, that they can't get anywhere else, that makes them feel stronger and better because they are, not in a fake way, but because they are every day? So are we creating an experience? So retention, sometimes we can take these words, like retention and recruitment and revenue and all these different things and running the business, and we get so focused on the words that we forget what they really mean. In a martial arts school, I hate to beat the dead horse, but without amazing classes and creating an amazing experience for your clients, the school can't succeed no matter how good anything else is. So let's think about retention a little bit here. We're coming into the end of the year. What kind of events do you have going on to help build relationships? And I'm going to touch back on relationships a little bit here. When someone comes in and goes, yeah, little Susie's not really wanting to come to class. And I would say it's a little harder for little Susie to want to quit something that's great for her when she has friends there, she has good relationships there, when she really respects and looks up to and has healthy relationships with her instructors and her peers in class. And so it's important that we do events that build on those relationships. And of course, if you're doing that, you're working on your retention. So some things to think about were, if you're in the month of October, for us, we held our last kind of major black belt testing for the year. We hold 2 a year. We hold our annual degree black belt testing in October, and we make it a monster event. The guys come out and they work their butts off. They do hours of martial arts on the mat, from techniques to forms to breaking to one-step to self-defense, sparring, application, and all these different things for hours over a couple of days. But around the periphery, we've got grandparents and aunts and uncles and brothers and sisters and families that are connecting and relating. We try to be strategic in making that event a relationship building event, as well as a test for those guys out there on the mat and making sure that they're performing at the levels that they need to be for their levels. We're in October. It's kind of fall fest, maybe Halloween, however you want to look at that. So we allow a costume day at the school. Costume day, the kids just having a blast. And I tell you what, your instructors will love these things. The opportunity to get to dress up in their favorite kid character, cartoon, whatever that was, something from when they were a kid. And the kids absolutely eat it up. And, we're doing zombie games and drills out there on the mat and things that are fun and kind of fall fest and Halloween time focused. But we do not allow anything scary, bloody, stuff like that. It's just kind of healthy fun. But a costume day is a great way. The kids come in as, oh, you're in that costume too, or oh, that's my favorite character. What are we doing? Tightening relationships. A fall fest, some sort of like fall fest parents' night out. That's another thing that is good. Having an opportunity for the parents on a Friday evening or a Saturday, whatever day works for your school, to go on a date. Mom and dad, go take a date. We'll take the kids for 3-4 hours here, activities, games, drills, some martial arts, and let them have a blast. And guess what? What are we doing? We're allowing the kids to tighten up those relationships and come hang with their friends on the mat. Another thing we do in October, and I know it sounds like a lot, but it is, we hustle to try to keep the year in strong. We do a trunk or treat, and our trunk or treat is, the last few years, we've had upwards of 1,000+ people come through our trunk or treat. And it's just a service to the community. We're not looking for anything back. We provide candy. We ask parents and families to volunteer trunks, and they absolutely love it, coming and getting to dress up. The little guys coming through there, trick-or-treating, and you're getting to, kudo them on their cool Scooby-Doo costumes and all the things that they're wearing. And it ends up being just a blast and a great community event. But here we go again, relationship builder. November, for us, we hold our we're getting into the kind of the Thanksgiving season. And man, are we thankful for what we have and our students. But we have our last big annual tournament, in-house or inter-school tournament of the year. And it's another big event where the kids get to come out and compete with their friends, relationships are tightening. This is a time of year also, a lot of schools do like some sort of toy drives or things like that for kids. The last several years, we've picked up the idea of doing blanket, sock, and pajama drives for senior centers, local senior centers. Part of the reason we've done that is because through the years, if you look around, there are a lot of opportunities, Toys for Tots and Angels on the Tree type stuff in the grocery stores, which we love and we absolutely support, because there are kids out there that need that really badly. But a lot of times the older generations, I don't want to say get neglected, but maybe get overlooked a little bit. And so we actually schedule some demonstrations at the local senior centers, nursing homes, and we do blanket and sock drives and stuff. And we take and deliver some socks and blankets and stuff to those guys. And I tell you what, they eat it up. And I'll tell you, your young team, your demo team, leadership team, the guys that are involved in that get such an experience, because those older generation folks love just spending a few minutes, just 5 minutes, just chatting with the kids and telling them about their life. Every time we leave one of those, one of the young guys comes up and goes, "Oh my gosh, I met a guy who actually participated in World War II. And, I met a guy that was over 100 years old." And it's just really cool whenever they get to do those things. So in November, we're looking at things like that. Again, these are events that we're looking at to build a retention and continue to tighten relationships. December, we have in our city here at our main headquarter location school, we have a major Christmas lights parade. It's huge. We have an army truck. We bring that thing out and put a trailer behind it, and the kids come out in their uniforms and their Santa hats, and we do a big thing and we decorate the truck up real nice. Another opportunity, again, just to do some relation building amongst the students and the families. Sounds kind of funny, but we tried it several years ago and it's turned out amazing. We do a PJ and hot chocolate day. We just set up in our lobby some huge carafes of hot chocolate, apple cider. We don't do a lot of candy or anything. And at the end of every kid's class that day, they all get a small cup of either cider or hot chocolate, and they eat it up. The parents love it. The kids love it. And the kids get to come in their pajamas for that day. And we make it a workout by all means, but they're doing reindeer games. So they're pulling each other up and down the floor with bungee cords, and they're still kicking and moving and striking and doing their stuff, but they're just doing it in a little different way to make it exciting and make it fun. And remember, your last testings of the year for your standard students, your belt testings, promotions, stripe checks, etc. Another great opportunity, more events for that. Obviously, first and foremost, focused on martial arts, but, building those relationships. So just to kind of rehash a little bit, the R's today, rationale, what is your why? It's a good time of year to kind of reflect on your why. Are we staying consistent? Are we truly serving our why? What drives us, keeps us passionate, drives our team? Are we developing and tightening relationships, which really kind of ties into your retention? Are we driving healthy relationships amongst the families and between instructors and parents and all these things, so that it's, I don't know, harder for them to want to quit because they feel like they're connected to you and they're a part of your organization and who you are. Retention events. Are we doing some events at the end of the year, not getting kind of sleepy on it because we've got a big last tournament and some big last things behind us, and kind of glide through the end of the year? Finish your year strong, man. The next R I want to hit on is recruitment. It's also a good time of year to go back through and I hate to beat up numbers, but look at your metrics. In our organization, again, we get this from Hanshi Kovar. Our focus is we are martial artists first. We want to be true to the art, true martial artists. We're teachers second. We want to be able to communicate those skills, demonstrate those skills in a way that inspires and lights people's lives up. And lastly, number 3, we're business people. Inevitably, we need to track our numbers and make sure that the business operates in a healthy fashion, because the business serves your instructors and their families, etc. And so we got to make sure that we're responsible and we're stewarding these resources that God gives us every day in a really healthy way. So the next R, recruitment. It's a great time to start reviewing your warm prospects through the year that maybe didn't sign up. Maybe it wasn't the right time back in the spring whenever they contacted you. Now's the time for you to proactively go through those lists, reach back out to those folks and touch them and give an opportunity to come in. Give them an end of year special of some sort. School assemblies. We've got a few assemblies set up where we're going in and speaking on leadership to the kids for entire classes at the elementary schools here locally. Just this morning, by the way, we went out and did a high five Friday with several hundred elementary kids going into their school. It's just a day that you volunteer to go out. There were 8 of us on the team that went out there, and we just stood by the front door and, hey guys, happy Friday, and high-fived and smiled and got the kids to smile before they went into school. And the school teachers and the principals absolutely love that service and loved seeing the kids come in the building excited, not just dragging in. We've got some reading days set up for the kids at some of the local elementaries too. We have the Teamship leadership books. We have kids version. We have the Breakthrough Leadership Teamship Method book, which is for your teen adults. And then we have the kids versions that's developed off of our Teamship acronym: Teachable, Excellent, Accountable, Motivated, Courteous, Honest, Inspirational, and Perseverance. And there's 8 individual, small, kid-friendly, kid-focused books that deliver a great message. So we're going to take those over the next few weeks and be going into elementary schools and reading to classes. We're going to have this next week, we'll have the entire kindergarten wing of one of the elementaries not to ourselves, but to be able to go into and bounce from class to class for, like 15 minutes per class and read to the kids. It's a blast. Yes, it takes some of your time, but you're serving a bigger cause, man. You're serving these little guys. You're also creating, relationships in a way. They're going to look up to you, and they ever think karate, they're going to think about you. Make students aware of your VIP programs or any kind of specials that you have going on towards the end of the year, because people moving into the end of the year are thinking about Christmas. What's a good gift to get for my friend, or a good gift to get for my sibling? We've done several things around Christmas time to help move retail and to help move new student memberships. And, sometimes, just having your students, letting them know they can come by and pick up a VIP pass for their friend, and let them know, hey, that VIP pass is worth, a few $100s if someone actually spent the money to come do those classes, and you can give it free as a gift. And if you have trouble with that, I just want to ask you, if you're a martial arts school owner, instructor, and you're listening to this, would you delete all of your martial arts memories, friendships, relationships you've developed through the years? And I've heard it, I think it was Stephen Oliver one time threw this out at an event that I was at. He said, if I gave you $1 million cash right now, would you delete all of your martial arts skills, memories, and everything? And I've asked that question to people. I've never had anyone take me up on that. And the reason I bring that up is, don't feel that it's selfish to offer people a VIP pass, because if you ask your students and if you ask yourself, do you love martial arts? Does it truly make a difference? Has it been a gift in your life? Most of us say yes. And so there you go. Your VIP pass is a gift. So make sure that the students know that they can pick those up and hand those things out. Another thing too, around the Christmas season, package up either, a uniform and like a certificate for classes and some things in little gift bags, and do a special on those for the Christmas season, and offer those out to your students to purchase, to give away as gifts, to give to other people. So there are quite a few options that you can really get into with your, in the recruitment area towards the end of the year. Retail, make sure you're paying attention to your retail kind of going into the holiday season. Weather's cooling off typically for most of us, unless you live down by the equator somewhere. But, hoodies, new shirts, pro shop goodies, little stuffed animals that you can customize, things like that you can keep in your pro shop that are really meaningful, that people care about. We do some little stuffed animals that are like 8-10 inch little guys that we customize little Teamship t-shirts and put on them, or little headbands and things like that, and put on those little guys. And so, if you're ever interested in how to do those things better, or, if you want some guidance on any of that, reach out to us, message me, Chip Townsend, look me up on Facebook. We actually have a curriculum solutions program, and we have several affiliates out there running the Teamship curriculum and killing it. And so we would love to help you in any way we can. So remember, just going to kind of zoom back through these R's and rehash what they were. Rationale, what's your why? Relationships, retention, recruitment, and retail. And then the last one, rise. Rise. What do I mean? Like rise. Rise is, if we're always on the rise, we have momentum, and we're moving up in the right direction. Rise and run. We're tending to rise. We tend to be going up, right? It's momentum. So I just want to encourage you one last time. Don't get into the fall season, the end of the year, and let your momentum die and sit back on your laurels and go, okay, we finished up that last big event here in October or whatever, and we can kind of glide through the end of the year. Man, let your passion fire you for the service, the service to your students, and keep your momentum. When you close out this year with momentum, I'm going to do another podcast episode on how do we kick off the next year strong. that momentum keeps going. I'll just never forget hearing this. I think it's John Maxwell talks about in some of his books. When a locomotive stops on the tracks, it takes tons of energy and tons of push to get that thing to move. But once it's moving, momentum, the big mo is what he calls it. That thing is hard to stop. So don't slow down even when you're tired. And with that said, monitor your team, encourage your team, make sure you're giving them some time off and balancing, because when you're running all these events, you can run them thin and it can be a challenge. But just make sure that they're getting some time off, getting rest, and that they're happy to fill each other's holes. And what I mean by that is if one guy says, hey, I need a couple of days off here or there for that, or my kids have something going on at school and I need to miss an evening, someone else is happy to go, hey, I'll take that slot. I'll step in there for you. Just watch that culture in your school and make sure that your guys are truly supporting and kind of loving on each other, for lack of better words. So there you are, some R's to close out your year strong. Don't slow down. Don't break the momentum. Keep it going. And once you bump into January and everybody's fired up and back on the new year, new resolutions, new goals, let's get it done mindset, it'll pick up and run again. So hope that helped. You guys like it, love it, share it, help get it out there, subscribe to the podcast. So anything we can do for you, reach out to us and let us know. Team Chip Curriculum Solutions, Chip Townsend, chiptownsend.com. Just look us up. We'd love to help out in any way we can. See you on the next episode.
Thank you for tuning into the Team Chip Podcast. If you enjoyed today's episode, don't forget, subscribe, share, and or leave a review, because we need you. We appreciate you so much. And without you, we can't make this happen. Remember, consistency is the key to success. So go out there and never be outworked.